Welcome back to another video, and to end, we're going to be continuing the destruction of this idiot. And let's continue.
Had actually had any fucks to give about learning the game, I possibly could have figured out how this mechanic works, but thankfully I didn't.
Yep, I've already done it.
Drops, because that is the game loop, basically. Right.
You can't criticize the game like this while showing gameplay that looks worse than the game journalist who couldn't even beat the tutorial of Cuphead. I think his name was Dean something. Yes, that journalist who gave us some exclusive footage of Doom Eternal, where he couldn't even jump over chains. Your gameplay is worse than his. At least he actually tried to that's giving him a bit too much credit. At least he attempted to shoot the enemies.
Run out of ammo, melee someone, curse under your breath, rinse and repeat until either the game finishes or you run out of sedatives. Well, let's talk about the fuckery. Well, it's too fucking expensive. Seriously, £100.
And this video came out 1 month ago, so Doom Eternal would have came out 2 months ago at the time of this video that I'm absolutely destroying. So you're saying that 2 months later, a AAA $100+ game, yes, 2 months later it should be worth $25. That would be an absolute insult to everyone who bought this game at launch. And why would people buy a game at launch when they know that 2 months later it's gonna be $25? I mean, the game would have no one would be playing it for 2 months. This guy's an idiot and makes all YouTube reviewers look bad.
The whole game with all the glass beads and woolen blankets included. Fuck that, it's not worth the trade. That's the same price as a Division 2 full edition. And at least with that game,
the Division 2 was garbage. It still had a lot of the problems that the first Division suffered from, and I don't want to talk about that garbage any longer.
You get the Community Management Team's State of the Game DLC expansion, where a variety of bullshitting corporate comedy sock puppets get up in front of the cameras every week to blow bubbles and improvise why the game is...
This video that I am roasting has to be a joke. There's no way someone can be this dumb.
Still fucked and unfinished, like some funny yet vaguely creepy corporate Punch and fucking Judy show. I don't think I can touch on fuckery without at least alluding to the fact that my gut is telling me that Bethesda clearly, how can I put this? Bethesda has clearly motivated a lot of content creators.
So you're saying that Bethesda bribed critics and game reviewers to give the same good reviews when the user reviews on Steam and other places would be very low, and this is pre-Denuvo.
To give this game positive reviews. Best FPS game ever made? Fuck off.
I mean, this guy is about as credible credible as one of those creeps defending maps. And if you don't know what a map is, I'm not talking about paper that tells you where to go. I'm talking about the creepy people.
I doubt this will end up being the best FPS game this year. Oh yeah, it probably will, because every major publisher is allocated at least one mandatory prize at the Video Game Awards, which is only fair, really, because they are paying for them. And I mean that literally. Seriously, even Ubisoft walked away with 4 nominations last year, and their games in 2019.
Well, why did Sekiro win an award? Even though I criticized that game for being $100+ 1 year later, that game was still amazing, and it still managed to win an award, even though it was meant for really good players who liked super hard games. Which those players, I respect you.
Team were a bucket of putrid fuck. On a serious note, though, the mainstream reviews of this game are vastly overrating Doom Eternal. I will let the viewer decide whether that is caused by advertising.
You just implied that just a little bit ago that you implied that Bethesda was bribing critics and game reviewers for good reviews. Get out.
Budget blackmail, bribing YouTube reviewers, fear of pissing off fanboys, populism, basic low standards, or just basic poor taste. And in case you can't figure it out, it's mostly the first 3 with a fair bit of the last 3 thrown in too. When evaluating a video game, I always like to ask, for what problem is that the solution? Nobody really needed this game. Nobody was protesting outside of it.
Well, games are not needed. People play games for entertainment and to get away from all the terrible garbage of life, so they can just escape all that, so they can just have some calm, chill hours where they don't have to think about all that garbage.
E3 last year screaming, "We demand a mediocre generic first-person
Well, that's because no one does that, and I notice it's clearly a joke, because no one is this is stupid.
sci-fi shooter where you bounce around a lot in the air, jumping from platform to platform, shooting generic bad guys with generic
bad guys. I know this guy probably hasn't even finished the game, but the Marauder.
weapons.
And if you've played the game, you would know how stupid this guy is.
Generic boingo boingo prepubescent kaleidoscopic shit shooter is an industry staple these days. It's like non-brand medium sliced bread or
This isn't the 2000s anymore. Call of Duty and Halo clones aren't relevant anymore.
off-brand slightly too sugary peanut butter. Sure, it makes up the majority of our collective diets, but it's not what you would choose to eat if there was a nicer option. Especially not when this white bread game is, let's face it, a vastly inferior sequel to a once classic game.
You called Doom 2016 a passable, mediocre bowel movement. And now you're calling it a classic. Get out of here. You know what? If you're gonna have a bad review of Doom Eternal, at least have your opinions be consistent with Doom 2016.
They have tried to spam it up a bit and rebrand it a little so they look like they earned their developer wages. There were the usual additional odd features that we are seeing a lot of these days in what should be traditional linear shooters. Fast travel points, allusions to semi-open world, which is really just about
there is no semi-open worlds. They're just really big levels. They're just big levels. And fast travel, you only get that when you're about to when you're about to finish the level so you can go back and get all the secrets.
Going back later and snaffling collectibles. Oh, collectible dollies, because the Slayer likes his dollies for floof.
They're optional, you idiot. And the game does not tell you get all the collectibles so you can get the true ending. This isn't one of those garbage games.
Cosmetics, RPG, ultralight character progression, weapon upgrades, weekly fucking challenges. Some of this is a
The weekly challenges are optional and they're just there so you can get a lot more XP so you can get skins for single player and battle mode.
aligned with this modern idea of making every single fucking game slightly semi-ish, open-ish, world-ish with RP.
Why? Do you just want maps are that are 10 minutes long? Do do you just want that? This because this is 2020, not the 80s, where a level at longest was 25 minutes. And
RPG-ish light character progression with all that collectible shite. But weekly challenges just smacks of desperate, always online methodology bullshit. A desperate plea to make a linear single-player game
let's just
shite. But weekly challenges just smacks of desperate, always online methodology bullshit.
really so let's just continue just so
Desperate plea to make a linear single-player game infinitely replayable.
you just said that the optional weekly challenges were a desperate plea to make the game replayable. This is a Doom game. Bethesda, who is giving its software money, knows that people are going to be playing this game like a lot, so that's why its software made the level so much fun and replayable to everyone who has an IQ over 5. For everyone who has an IQ over 5 will know how much fun this game is. Unlike this talentless idiot who can't even do a jump that's so easy that you that all you have to do is a little bit of climbing, jump onto the launcher, shoot the green thing, then dash. Or it's that easy.
Which is an unlikely prospect at best, unless the game is spectacular the first time around. Single-player game infinitely replayable, which is an unlikely prospect at best, unless the game is spectacular.
Really, you're saying that it'll be unlikely? Well, maybe if your mom drank and smoked like a lot when she was pregnant to this idiot, but no, this is far from the truth. I've played this game like a lot. I know like a lot about the game. So this guy is an idiot with no credibility as a game reviewer.
First time around. I mean, they put those weekly challenges in Wolfenstein Youngblood. And that worked out so...
You're comparing it to Youngblood, a game that was a underwhelming husk of what was Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, a game that's criminally underrated, a game that I love because it respects the player by being very difficult, having a great story, great characters, great cutscenes, great gameplay. Overall, it's just a really good underrated game that a lot of people who like harder shooters should definitely play, and actually made me a lot better at shooters.
well. 86 people playing as we speak. Winning. There was an interesting rock, paper, scissors dynamic with both damage output and reward input. If I ever manage to stumble across enough fucks to get emotionally invested in this game, I might well learn how that works. And
Well, if you weren't a cringe king who's cringier than I was, you're cringier than my old videos, which I'm not gonna take down because every bit of criticism that I get saying that I'm so cringy now, I'm going to point at those videos and say, this is what I was. Look how much better I've gotten now.
explain it to you. But I won't. And I suspect
You just try to jump on that. This guy is an idiot. And you know that you can jump on that. You can swing on that, and there's a dash refill right there, which earlier you could use a dash refill.
you knew I was lying when I said that. I doubt I'll even manage to finish this game. It's that unsatisfying. There is, however, not that much technically wrong with Doom Eternal, but that
How do you fail that badly at a jump?
I'll even manage to finish this game. It's that unsatisfying. There is, however, not that much technically wrong with Doom Eternal, but
Great, so you can stop this video right now and I can finally go to sleep. Oh wait, we are 2 minutes away from the halfway point, so no, I can't go to sleep. Thanks. I'm going to make great. I can make a third video on this now.
that doesn't make it great. It's an averagely well-made asset flip from people.
How many times am I gonna have to say this? You can't flip assets over to a new engine. Why do you think EA keeps spamming sports games? And why do you think it took id Software 4 years to make this?
With lots of experience making Doom games, with lots of developer assets from Doom games, following the exact winning formula of Doom games. So no, it's not shit, but what problem...
Well, you spent 18 minutes saying this game is garbage. It's pure garbage.
does it solve? The winning formula has got old, and collectible cuddle toys and park...
And you got worse. You got way worse. How do you fail this badly?
No, it's not shit, but what problem does it solve? The winning formula has got old, and collectible cuddle toys and parkour is not going...
And the collectibles are optional. You don't need them. And you and just like I said earlier, they don't unlock anything. They don't unlock anything except you can see except you can see how detailed the enemies are.
to change that. If I took photos of the Sistine Chapel, photoshopped them all around into a new layout and painted them with...
This guy can't even hit the spacebar in between dashes.
Cuddle toys and parkour is not going to change that. If I took photos of the Sistine Chapel, photoshopped them all around into a new layout and painted them with bright modern new paints on the ceiling of a different chapel, it would technically be as good as the Sistine Chapel. What does it actually achieve? No one's going to go and visit that fucking place. The combat basically seems to be driving the player to get as close as possible to the enemies. Soften...
Well, it's because it's a Doom game, and you always, and it's because it's a rushdown shooter. It's yes, wow, it's such a surprise that an aggressive shooter is telling you to get close to the enemies. I mean, the Doom 2016 made Rip and Tear iconic. It made Rip and Tear iconic, so what do you expect the Doom game that they made 4 years later to do? Change it into a boring sniper elite ripoff. Yeah, that's totally what they were supposed to do.
them up, then punch them. That classic Black Ops technique of equipping your soldiers with a huge array of the highest tech ranged weapons imaginable, but then ordering them to only...
Glory kills, you're supposed to do them to get health back. You don't have to do a glory kill just to kill an enemy. You only need to do glory kills just for health, and that's it.
dispatch their wounded enemies with a fucking punch in the kisser. That makes sense, right? Indeed it doesn't. But that is the core gunplay mechanic. Weaken the enemy, then quickly get up in their grill and stitch one on the fucker. Only in the movies, right? Personally, I would be happy to complete the entire fucking game with a sniper.
You just try to climb up there. Does that look like you could climb up? Does that... what did I just say? Does that look like something that you could climb up with?
Quickly get up in their grill and stitch one on the fucker. Only in the movies, right? Personally, I would be happy to complete the entire fucking game with a sniper rifle.
Yeah, you can. You actually can do it. There is a sniper rifle in the game. It's called. It is. Can we get a drum roll that's not even there? It's called the scope for the heavy cannon, you idiot.
But if you cleared each level at range, the player might suddenly notice the fundamental lack of depth to the story and level design.
Well, you could say the same thing about the original Doom games, but oh wait, you can't because all the story was readable, and it's the same for this game. The story in this game is all in the codex entries because they didn't want the story to beat the player over the head with. Unlike in Death Stranding, where the gameplay is so boring and forgettable that that you have to that you won't even think about skipping the cutscenes because they're the only thing that's entertaining. 18 hours in.
Because here is the story and level design. You get put in a level, you solve a puzzle, you kill everything. Some bad dude grumbles at you for giving...
No, that never happens. No one goes, where, you hurt me, I'm going to complain and throw things at you. I mean, even though that sounds like your fans after they find this video, they're not your fans after they find my videos.
him a boo-boo. There is no fucking story. Unless, of course, you consider the writing on the back of a bottle of bleach as constituting a story.
So you're complaining about there being no story, but you're complaining about there being codex entries. You're contradicting yourself, you idiot.
In fairness, if you sit on the shitter reading the label on a bottle of bleach, and when you're finished you say, "Oh wow, that was a gripping story," then, I think you are probably going to love the narrative in Doom Eternal. Because it will be the best story you've heard all week. But for most humans, they probably won't even notice the game has a story. There were
You just try to jump from all the way there to over there. When there's something right there that you're close to, it's highlighted. Yes, there's a bright blue light, and there's green lights. So it's literally giving you the green light.
lots of
And you
integrated
try to do that, you're an idiot.
puzzle style things that you had to complete to navigate through levels and get past obstructions. They pissed me off. The platforming sections of the game, frankly, were at times annoying and eventually
The only times that the platforming went too far, and that I will admit was was at the part where Samuel Hayden says, "You have brought her world and her people to eternal damnation on Urdak," and that part went too far, and it's after all it's definitely going to change that. It's definitely going to change the platforming for the DLCs that are coming out.
became absolutely fucking insanely annoying as all fucking fuck. Here is a quick masterclass in first-person shooter level design, where the player power fantasy is being a one-man bollock hard death machine. If you are really determined to absolutely fuck that up with 100% clarity, then introduce platform puzzles where the player will die 10 to 20 times in a fucking row trying to jump like fucking Mario from one dickless platform to another. What the actual fucking...
There are more things about the game than platforming and price and ammo. I mean, you haven't mentioned you yes you haven't mentioned the gunplay once in the game. Yes, you haven't mentioned that, not once, because you'll have to give that. You'll have to say that's good because it is really good and tons of fun. But this is a video that will get tons of negative attention from Doom fans. I mean, it's out of all your videos, this has gotten most attention. I think we're getting a little bit more in.
shitlord are they thinking? Hey players, do you want to play the role of a deadly fuck-hard murder machine with a death metal soundtrack and invisible backpack stuffed with an arsenal of guns, or just maybe you hide the guns in your ass? You want that? You want to feel the bloodlust? Okay then, we'll just spend 15 minutes mantling onto these annoying platforms.
No, the platforming has never gone longer than 5 minutes. And sure, the platforming may go a little bit. No, 5 minutes. That's too unrealistic, and giving them way too much credit. The platforming, you only have to do a few jumps and dashes, then you're right back into the combat, and you're criticizing. And you can't think of an argument that isn't price, ammo, platforming. There's more to a game than just that.
Dying every 6 seconds until eventually you get lucky, and then maybe, just fucking maybe, we will give you 3 rounds of shotgun ammunition and something to shoot at. You little bitch. Some of the platforming felt more like hazing or trolling. It did not fit this game. It was diametrically opposed to the game's narrative. Okay, maybe not narrative, let's say genre, or maybe game category.
Yeah, well, maybe you should look at some of the user reviews for tips and information, because that is your job, to review games. And if you don't, and if you trash out the game, your review becomes pointless. Your credibility gone. All of that because you're showing gameplay that's worse than upper echelon gamers.
But you get my point.
No,
I'm supposed to be.
no, you have, I mean, you have gotten no points that you have won.
The Doom guy. Why are you treating me like.
Just hit D. Move around a little bit, then you'll be able to make that jump.
Fucking Mario in Donkey Kong. I can see that they were trying to introduce some supposed new elements, but it played more like a college wedgie session rather than a legitimate challenge. Especially when you can't see around.
Are you joking? You're saying that the game didn't feel like a legit challenge. You're playing on the easiest difficulty. Did you actually think this was going to be a challenge when you're playing on the easiest difficulty? I mean, this guy is an inconsistent idiot.
The corner, and you have to jump blind and hope that in that fraction of a second you can see where you need to jump for.
No, because you can just hit D and you'll go around there. You'll see something, put your hand out, jump and grab it, then climb up. That's all you have to do.
Swing off and in which direction to go for, and you started the whole procedure in the correct way to put you in reach in the first place. You're gonna die a lot by trial and error. They are practically setting you up to fail and demanding trial and error, killing off.
No, they are not setting you up to fail. You sound like one of those players who blames them failing miserably at online on lag when you're playing offline bots.
The player multiple times, and it simply does not fit this game.
You could have dashed and you would have gotten that.
But putting aside the theorising and methodology, it basically just gets annoying. And don't even get me started about the multiple mantling puzzles where if you fuck up the last bit you have to go right around and do the whole.
Well, maybe, just maybe, it's because there's no platform to stand on. And whenever there is a platform to stand on, it'll put you on there.
Fucking thing again from the beginning. This is some real old school boring fuck game design. I paid for a shooter. If I wanted to play a platformer, I would have bought George of the Jungle and the Search for the Secret.
This guy's jokes are even worse than crime wars. Get out.
Saved myself £97.50 and had a lot more fun in the process. Okay, maybe that's overstating the case. It's funny, but it was only after a particularly frustrating 1 hour session, almost exclusively dominated by my horrific failure at the mantling and jumping puzzles, that it hit me. It's fucking Portal. No, seriously, the penny dropped. This game.
This is not Portal. This is Doom. I mean, the closest, and this is a very big stretch. Just because you can both jump And just because there's momentum does not mean it's Portal.
Is inspired by the 2007 cult classic game Portal. Once I
Cult classic. No, it's not a cult classic. A cult classic is an is an indie game that doesn't get that much attention, but has just enough to get some good reviews, to get all attention towards it, to be mostly good.
appreciated that, I breathed in and let out a huge sigh of relief. Then I spat at the screen and went straight back to raging and screaming at the game.
Maybe if you were good, then you wouldn't be. Okay.
It's fucking Portal.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to upload this one because of the length of the video, but I'll try to, and get ready for the next one.